I have just made some fabulous new friends. And you know what I like to do when I make new friends?
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 dark theories that will ruin your childhood.
The first comic strip, The Black Smurfs, was intimately concerned with what you might classify as a racial threat.
For this list, we'll be looking at some of the most disturbing fan theories about your beloved childhood TV shows and films. You'll probably think vastly different about them by the end. What's the darkest TV episode you remember from your childhood? Let us know below. Number 10. Nuclear Sponge, Spongebob Squarepants. When you ponder about old SpongeBob and his pals, nuclear annihilation isn't the first thing that comes to mind.
A bomb? In the Krusty Krab!
But according to a popular theory, it should be. In real life, the US tested nuclear weapons in the 1940s into the 50s in Bikini Atoll, near the Marshall Islands. The show confirmed that the fictional Bikini Bottom is below the real Bikini Atoll.
Hello, Bikini Bottom!
Some fans believe the characters are a result of the radiation caused by the nuclear fallout from testing explosions.
This would go great with some milk. Whoop.
After years of the mutations taking effect, the sea creatures began to develop the ability to talk and be quirky, lovable characters. We should probably expect them to appear in a future X-Men film.
Let's eat! Oops!
Number 9. Bugging Out, The Emperor's New Groove. Imagine one day, as a human, you're suddenly turned into a creature, but then no one comes to your rescue and you have to experience all the horrors that Mother Nature provides. Fun, right?
Yes, Crunk. Riveting.
Well, this could be the case in The Emperor's New Groove. As we see, in this world, only humans who are transformed into creatures can talk, like Cusco.
And you turned me into a llama!
What? No, I did not.
When he's in his llama form and traversing the spooky jungle alone, we hear a cry for help that sounds like it's coming from a human. Only it's actually coming from a helpless fly caught in a web. It's then quickly eaten by a terrifying spider.
Okay, that was the freakiest thing I've ever seen.
This might mean this fly was a human since it was screaming for help, which is, if true, pretty horrifying.
Anything sounds bad when you say it with that attitude.
Number 8. Great Depression, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?
I'm Jamie Cragmore, Miss Aggie's Chief of Staff.
The criminals in TV's Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Are always people pretending to be something supernatural, either to get money or get out of being caught for doing a crime.
Wow, an old Scottish Highlander.
Well, one theory poses the question that there's a reason everyone appears so obsessed with cash.
Like there must be $1 million in there.
So that's it. Those creeps were after this money.
The universe is experiencing the effects of a great financial depression.
Huh?
After all, the villain has often been a celebrity or someone with an affluent career, which would mean the broken economy is affecting everyone.
Now let's take a look at our ghost.
Why, it's Jamie Cragmore.
On top of that, the Scooby Gang also seemingly live in their van and constantly wear the same clothes. Cops aren't exactly present all the time either, which could be explained by budget cuts to public services. Sort of makes you feel bad for the so-called villains.
Scooby found the first clue, a scrap of paper that Jamie neglected to burn.
Number 7. Personal Delivery, Postman Pat. Officially, Postman Pat has only one child in the form of Julian Clifton.
Can I have that apple, Julian?
But what if he was delivering his package to many more households than just his own? Take a look at whenever a group of kids appears on the screen.
Morning, Mrs. Goggins.
Yay! Hello, Mrs. Goggins!
Baby!
Several of them look a lot more like the dependable Posty than their apparent parents. In fact, they often possess ginger hair or an oblong face. Even some kids have the same spectacle fashion as Pat, which seems suspicious.
Well, the children are painting on the platform.
In the early series, school teacher Jeff Pringle had a son called Charlie who looks far more like possibly promiscuous Pat than he does Jeff. Maybe that's why the teacher hasn't been on the show in a long time. He realized Charlie's true lineage and took off.
Well, I'd better get on with my rounds. Cheerio, everyone.
Number 6. Sun Searching, Finding Nemo.
Just think in a couple of days, we're gonna be parents.
One of the most heartbreaking opening scenes in an animated kids film is from Finding Nemo, with the Barracuda attack. The fish eats all the eggs of Marlin and Coral and seemingly consumes the latter too. However, one egg survives to become Nemo, who eventually gets into shenanigans. But what if we're actually watching is the PTSD delusion of a heartbroken father because no one actually survived the attack?
Whoa, hold on, wait to cross. Hold my fin.
After all, we witness Marlin go through the stages of grief in the film, such as denial when it came to Nemo going to school, anger when Nemo disobeys him, and so on.
Bye, Nemo! Bye, Dad! Bye, son!
Finally, the word Nemo in Old Latin translates as no man, no one or nobody, which is pretty spooky.
This is some kind of practical joke. It's not funny, and I know funny. I'm a clownfish.
Number 5, counting casualties, Sesame Street. If you want to learn math, you can't go wrong by studying under the learning tree of Count Von Count from Sesame Street.
4 beautiful bats. The number of the day is 4.
But be warned, never ever visit the counting vampire puppet in person. Otherwise, it might be the last thing you ever do. Think about it. Whenever a kid appears on the show, they're never around for long, and the theory is that the count is secretly eating them.
When I count you, that's when I get to know you.
The other puppets and adult humans are either turning a blind eye to what he's doing or under his thrall, forced to please their master by offering him new victims. Perhaps teaching the kids addition makes them extra tasty? Make sure to take a load of garlic with you if you're ever on the show, just in case, especially if you're young or appear to look very young.
1, 2, 3.
Number 4, Roadrunner's Revenge, the Looney Tunes franchise. If there's anything certain in life, it's taxes and the failure of Wile E. Coyote catching the Roadrunner on Looney Tunes. Even though Coyote has made hundreds of schemes, he never seems to get his prize, which is pretty strange. You'd expect one of them to work on the law of averages alone. But that could be because Wile E. Coyote isn't in the natural world. He's in hell. After all, he's clearly stuck in a sandy, dry, hot landscape. He then has his temptation, the Roadrunner, constantly escaping, and he's mocked for his attempts over and over again. Some fans have compared Wile E. Coyote's story to that of Tantalus in Greek mythology, who's tormented with pleasures just out of his reach in a location similar to hell. Number 3, Angelica's Vivid Imagination, Rugrats. Oh boy, this one's rough.
This is gonna be great.
This idea proposes that the main Rugrats babies are all figments of Angelica's imagination. After all, she's an only child with workaholic parents.
The only reason I'm not at this meeting is that it's Passover and I have to... Passover, Your Highness, it's a Jewish holiday.
So, lacking attention, she's left to her mind, which takes a very dark turn. Firstly, Chucky and his mother perished, which is why Chaz has horrendous anxiety. Phil and Lil DeVille were actually aborted by their parents. Since Angelica didn't know what the baby was going to be, she created twins. And Tommy was stillborn, resulting in Stu being in denial as he makes toys in the basement over and over again.
It's me, Angelica, the famous ballerina dancer.
Not right now, Angelica. I gotta finish this hippocopter.
With the dream of having a large family, Angelica invented all these kids to process the trauma of lost friends and cope with everything. Yikes. Horrific. Number 2, Gotta Dream 'Em All, Pokemon. For 25 years, Ash Ketchum has been 10 years old, which is bonkers. In that time, he's traveled to many regions, met numerous creatures, and had the adventure of several lifetimes.
Venipede's hurt. Can you please...
No! He's been poisoned!
But still, he never ages. Why? Well, this popular theory for the Pokemon anime is that Ash has been in a coma since his first outing. After getting his trusty Pikachu and taking on a swarm of Spearows, the electric rodent releases a thunderbolt to save them both. But it also plunges Ash into a long-term nap. Everything that happens after this is all in his mind.
I thought this was the Pokemon gym, Pikachu.
It also explains why Ash has met so many legendary and mythical Pokémon when researchers that have spent decades searching for them have had no luck.
What's that?
There is no data. There are still Pokemon yet to be identified.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Racist Smurfs, the Smurfs franchise. Today, the Smurfs are seen as peculiar little blue folk with a simple society that most commonly names each Smurf based on one prominent characteristic.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dreamy. Happy birthday to you.
But what if their existence is just a racist allegory? Not quite as fun.
And when they become black, they lose all trace of intelligence. They become completely moronic, and furthermore, they can no longer speak.
In the original comic strip, one story features the Smurfs being bitten by a buzzfly.
Ow! Ouch!
It turns their skin black, making them angry and vastly reducing their intelligence. They plan to bite other Smurfs to infect them. After the Smurfs find a cure, Jokey Smurf makes himself look like one of the infected for laughs.
He bit me, and I feel...
The story was adapted for the 80s cartoon, but with purple skin instead of black, likely to avoid the racist overtones. There's also been an accusation that the villain Gargamel is nothing more than an anti-Semitic caricature.
There they are again, Azrael. Don't they look good enough to eat?
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.